What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at my 4K Steelbook Blu-ray collection. Now I do have a lot of other Steelbooks which might make it into another video if this one goes down well, but for this one we're going to be focusing on all the ones that are the 4K Steelbooks. Now I pretty much exclusively only buy Steelbooks really. If it's a movie I really want to get, I pick up the 4K Steelbook of it. So everything you're seeing here is pretty much every movie I've bought in the last say 2 or 3 years, maybe even a little bit longer than that. So we're not going to be looking at them in alphabetical order. What I've done is I've put them into a specific genre and we're going to go through them as we go. By the way, say hello to my new pal here, the Xenomorph head bust. I actually got this as a gift from my girlfriend. She bought it recently. It's the 25th anniversary, I think it's either the DVD or the Blu-ray box set, and it's a shape of the Xenomorph head, and inside you can slot the discs. And I think it's really awesome. I'm so grateful for having it, and it's going to look really badass in the setup once we're done. Everything here in the background is actually my girlfriend's video game Steelbook collection, and she has a video up on her channel for that, so I'm going to link that in the description if anyone wants to check out what these are. So it's definitely worth watching. So yeah, let's get into my collection. So the first selection here we're going to look at is the sort of Marvel superhero collection of 4K Steels that I picked up. I started picking them up when phase 3 of the MCU came around, because that was around the time when they started getting into more 4K stuff, and I just bought my Xbox One S, which was a 4K player, so I thought from then on I might as well just get the best version I can. So originally I wasn't going to pick up this whole collection here because I only wanted the one, because I already did own the first 2 movies already, but these are the Captain America trilogy. So here is the first one. Here we have this image of they kind of look like 1930s posters. They're really cool steels actually. So we have the Red Skull on the front there, and these are all part of like a trilogy set, so they all match as well on the spine there. I'm not going to go into too much detail on these. If anyone wants to see them, I guess I can put them up on a different video. But what I like about this set is that they all have the Captain America shield on the back, and each one differs slightly. So this one here, for the first Avenger, we have the old school sort of World War II shield. The second one in this is the Winter Soldier, which is, in my opinion, is probably in the top 3, maybe top 5 of all of the Marvel films. This is a great like action espionage film. And we have Steve Rogers there on the front with Nick Fury too. And again, this one has more of like a cold, battered shield on the front there. So that is the Winter Soldier. Great movie. This is the one I actually picked up the set for, because this was the only MCU phase 3 movie that I didn't own, because I was waiting for a 4K steel to match the rest of the set, and finally it eventually came and I ended up picking the whole trilogy. So this is Captain America Civil War. Now this is an awesome movie as well. It's basically a mini Avengers movie, and yeah, it's very close to, if not on par with, the Winter Soldier. On the back of this one we have the kind of the reformed shield. So this is the shield not battered, so it's kind of a thematically like Cap is back on form. So Civil War. The next 2 are the last 2 Spider-Man movies. Now this is for SpiderMan Homecoming, which is the first one with Tom Holland. I think his name's Tom Holland, right? Yeah, and this steel is very sort of cartoony. I remember seeing the design for this. I think this is from HMV. I remember seeing it and I didn't really like the look of it, but I'd already ordered it and I wanted it anyway. But when I actually got it, I was pleasantly surprised by the look of it actually. So it's a really cool arty steel. And on the back there we have the sort of retro costume he makes, the really cheap version with the Vulture. So yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming. Here we have the Spider-Man Far From Home steelbook. This is basically I think this is the latest MCU movie they brought out actually. So this one has more of a like metallic look of it. It looks more realistic than the Homecoming one, and I believe that is at the bridge in London. I'm not sure where they go to in the movie, but there's a bridge there from one of the main sort of locations they go to, and a little bit lazy on the back I guess, but we have the Spider-Man symbol in more of the sort of the black armor suit look. I can't remember what he's called, like Night Monkey or something like that. So anyways, that is Spider-Man Far From Home. And another title that I was waiting for ages to buy was Doctor Strange, because it was this and Civil War that they just did not release any 4K or steelbooks until Endgame came out. So this is the Doctor Strange steelbook. It's a very cool piece of art there with just like his ring of transportation. I can't remember what it's actually called, but you can like teleport around. Lots of cool colours there, which is very in tone with the movie. And on the back we have the eye of something, I can't remember. It's basically one of the Infinity Gems. But yeah, really cool Steel, really cool movie, and the fact that Sam Raimi is directing the second one, I cannot wait for that. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think this was actually the first 4K Steelbook I ever picked up. This one has Groot, Baby Groot on the front pressing a button, and on the back it's basically just like a reverse of the whatever he's standing on in the front. Pretty basic artwork, it's not too stylized, but yeah, the first one I ever picked up. Thor Ragnarok, absolutely adore this movie. This is one of the most fun movies ever, if not just one of the Marvel ones. I know that a lot of people have certain opinions about this, but I absolutely love this one. Just the colours, the style, just the humour, and just everything about it. It's so fantasy and epic, and I love this movie. On the back we have the Thor's sort of gladiator helmet there. Looks a bit scratched up in here, but I guess that's because it's been moved around a lot. Okay, next up we have Captain Marvel. This is in the Phase 3. This is going towards Endgame. This is probably one of my weakest movies in the series, but I had to fill a set, so I got it anyway. It's not the worst, it's not terrible, but yeah, I like this actually. I love this side of the steel with the Captain Marvel armor, so that's Captain Marvel. Black Panther, love this one too. I'm probably going to say I love each of the movies in this collection because I do own them. But yeah, this is a cool piece of art. It's like just a basic steel with a paint drip version of the Black Panther there on the back, and we have this art on the back which is even cooler, which is of, yeah, the Black Panther. Next up, Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is the second Ant-Man. It was weird to have this movie come out after Infinity War, because Infinity War was such a big movie, and then you're following up with a sequel with Ant-Man, which is more of like a family-friendly, low-key Marvel film. So yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp. On the back there we have Scott Lang transforming from either really small into really big, or really big into really small. This is a fun movie with lots of cool special effects, and just the way they deal with like the whole shrinking and growing thing. Now we're down to the last parts of the MCU collection here. Now this is the Avengers movies. So we have Avengers Assemble. I still can remember the first time I watched this in the cinema. I was blown away by it, just the culmination of all of the ones that came before it, and it's such a fun movie. And this is the steel, so we have the whole squad there around the outside of the symbol, and on the back we have the sort of the energy box. I can't remember what it's called. So is it the Cosmic Cube, which is what, the space gem. Avengers Age of Ultron here. This is a similar sort of design, but it's all red this time. We have even more of the players around there with Ultron himself there at the bottom. And yeah, this is a fun movie. I mean, a lot of people give this movie shit. They say it's the worst one. It probably is one of the worst ones out of the Avengers, but I still love it. It's got a lot of funny moments, especially the parts in the party scene with War Machine and Ultron on the back there. That's actually a really cool design. Okay, Infinity War, what a movie. I love Infinity War. This is just like I know it's the first part of the whole Endgame series, but it's actually like, this was the first big build up to a giant enemy threat with Thanos. And Thanos is amazing, played by Josh Brolin. We got the Infinity Gauntlet, all the stones, everything came together in this movie, and it was like such a big cliffhanger. We have sort of like a cosmic look of the Avengers symbol there with space in the background, so yeah, I absolutely love Infinity War. Last but not least, we have Avengers Endgame. Now, I haven't seen this since the cinema, and I really need to. One of the reasons I haven't done one of these videos is because I've not had all of the 4K movies all in one place, and we have the OLED here now, so it's a perfect time for me to jump back in. And this has all of the main players down there in front of the symbol here, with Tony Stark there in the middle. And on the back we have the sort of, I think they're all different characters, and it's with the symbol, looks like it's been snapped out of existence. So Avengers Endgame, can't wait to actually rewatch this again, because like I said, I've not seen it since the cinema. With the MCU movies out of the way, I have some of the other Marvel movies here that aren't part of the sort of the universe as of now. So this one is the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Still haven't seen this movie. I've owned this since release. I really wanted to check it out because I heard such good things, and like the whole sort of multiverse thing is really cool to me. Not sure what the back is, it just looks like the cityscapes. It's kind of like a cel-shaded animation movie. Can't wait to actually try this one out. So yeah, that's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'll do these two at once. These are the Deadpool movies. So I think one of these was from HMV, one of them was from Zavi. Now this is Deadpool 1. This is like a really pop art style. He's got Deadpool with like his creating a love heart around his name. I really enjoyed this first movie, so that is Deadpool. Deadpool 2, I would say the designs of these are very, very weird. I mean, they're not the thing that stuns you on your bookshelf, but they are pretty cool, I guess. And this one has, I can't even remember the characters' names, but Domino and God, what's he called? I should know this, I've seen the X-Men cartoon millions of times. Not Bishop, the other dude. Cable. So this is the Deadpool 2 cover, and on the back there we have Hot Potato with the Juggernaut bitch. Venom movie. Now, I was excited when they first announced the Venom movie because we basically got, what, 10 minutes of a Topher Grace Venom in Spider-Man 3. And I got to say, they got the design down on Venom here. Tom Hardy's pretty cool, is it? But it just felt a bit average. It was a fun movie, it just wasn't great. But I'm really looking forward to what they do with Venom 2, especially with it having a Carnage in it, and apparently it's a rated R movie, and is directed by Andy Serkis, I believe. So that has a recipe for success, I think. So really cool artwork. I think that's one of the main reasons I bought this. And we have the symbiote in the back breaking out of some kind of vial. So that's the Marvel stuff down. Let's get into the DC stuff now. This isn't typically a Steelbook, but I do have it, and I don't think I'm going to upgrade to a Steelbook because I do love these sets. So I'm going to put these in here anyway. And that is the sort of digibook 4K versions of the Batman trilogy, the Nolan trilogy. So we have Batman Begins. They're all kind of velvety books. And they have a, oh god, I've got code in there. You have like an art book inside. I won't show you them now, but these are a really cool set. So that's the Batman Begins, the Dark Knight, what a masterpiece, with the Joker on the front there. The Batman Dark Knight Rises with Bane on the front. So we have a good view of Batman, the Joker and Bane on these. Shame about Scarecrow, but he didn't make the cut. A few more DC 4K steals here, and I haven't actually seen a lot of these. So we have Aquaman, which is a movie I haven't seen yet. So I've heard pretty good things about it, and I've heard it looks visually stunning in 4K, so I can't wait to try that one out on the OLED. We have the Trident on the front, and I'm assuming that might be the Aquaman symbol. Next up is another one I haven't seen because I still haven't seen Aquaman, and I kind of like to watch them in a chronological order, and that is Shazam. I heard this is a very fun movie, and kind of want to see how it relates into Black Adam and future sort of Superman movies and stuff. So yeah, that is Shazam. I've heard it's basically like Big the movie meets a superhero. Okay, now this is the 4K steal for Watchmen. I absolutely love this movie too. This is one of the ones I think is a bit underrated. A lot of people just find it too slow or too boring, or maybe they're used to the Nolan stuff. But I absolutely love this movie. I think it's Zack Snyder. Love the violence, just love the tone and like the history behind it. And yeah, it has a bit of Rorschach on the back. I actually love the TV series as well, so I do recommend checking out. It's pretty different to the movie, but I think it's well worth watching. This one is still sealed actually. I've not even opened it from the cling film, and it is Wonder Woman. Now, this is a pretty good movie too. I mean, they did have a few hits and misses with like Suicide Squad and stuff, but I thought this one was a pretty solid movie. And I mean, it's solid in a way that it played it pretty safe, nothing too crazy happened, but it was a great movie, and cinematography and stuff were really good in it too. So that is Wonder Woman. Last but not least on this DC selection is Joker. Now, I think this is a great movie. This was probably my best movie of last year, and this went head to head with Endgame, and I ended up preferring this one. It's very Taxi Driver, it's very king of comedy, but I just love the Joaquin Phoenix performance in this, and the style and the suit and just everything. So absolutely love Joker, and that's a steal. That's a really cool piece of art on the back too. Okay, this next section is more my sort of sci-fi movies and action movies. So we're going to start here with Aleta Battle Angel. Now, this really surprised me. I heard, I think this came out at the same time as Captain Marvel, and people were saying like, this is a much better movie, go and see it, because it was underperforming in the box office, and it's a really cool sort of sci-fi cyberpunk story where people have bionic limbs, and in fact the character is all sort of CGI, but it looks really cool. They have really big eyes. It's very anime, and I think it's based on a manga, so I really enjoyed Aleta, and if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend checking it out. The steel on the back is just plain black though, kind of weird, but on the front we have this really weird bionic arm. And speaking of sort of cyberpunk-y futuristic films, we have the Steelbook for Blade Runner 2049. This was also one of my favourite films of the year it came out. I think it was 2017. I love the themes and the sort of and the ideas they have in the movie. And on the back there we have the sort of holographic woman who's in the sky. So yeah, that's a really cool steal as well. The next two up here are Christopher Nolan movies, and Nolan is one of my favourite directors. I think I've loved every one of his movies, the ones I've seen. The only one I haven't seen is The Prestige, which I hear is great, so I don't know why I haven't seen it. But we have Dunkirk. This is his latest movie. It's set around the World War II in France, with the evacuations from the Dunkirk beach. This is a really stunning movie, and yeah, just the style of this one is great too. And I love the steel. It's kind of have like the pilot. It looks like he's being under fire, like bullets coming through the actual sort of artwork. Yeah, because you can see there, it's like bullet flares and sparks on the plane. I love the way this movie plays with time. All of Nolan's movies have kind of a different sort of mechanic to them, and I love the way they do this one over different time periods. So yeah, Dunkirk. And then we have Inception, which is also one of my favourite movies by Nolan, messing with dreams and time and everything. There's not much more else I need to say about this one, but this is a cool Steelbook too. This one's quite recent when it came out. We have the whole corridor scene now, with people flipping around, going upside down. Still need to figure out how they actually did those scenes. And on the back here we have what looks to be like a broken out building. I'm not sure what this scene is in the movie, but it's kind of like a waterfall coming out of a building with the whole cast there. So yeah, it's a really cool steel too. This is Predator. Predator is a classic. I love this movie too, and this is a really weird art style. I do have it in a non-4K format, which I think I might prefer that steel, but this one is still cool too. The colour scheme's a bit weird with the Predator being pink, but it's more like a cel-shaded animation of the cover. So yeah, 4K movie, looks pretty good as well, especially in like HDR. And on the back here we have the scorpion on the knife, which Mac stabs on Dylan's shoulder. So bit of a weird choice of art, but yeah, I dig it. This is the most recent Predator movie. Now, with this being directed by Shane Black, I was really excited about it. It has some good points, but it was a bit disappointing as a Predator movie, in my opinion. They could have made it a lot more, it could have been better. But what I will say is I do love this Steelbook. It's got like the Predator's face, but it's made out of human skulls, if you can see there. So say what you will about the movie, but that is a really badass steel. And on the back it just has the sort of the language of the Predator that they use on the little wristbands on the smartwatches. So yeah, the Predator. Here we have Rise of the Planet of the Apes. No, it's War of the Planet of the Apes. I always forget which ones they are, but this is a really cool one. And I think this is an underrated trilogy as well. I think this movie, I think I cried in the cinema watching this movie. But I really love this this series with Caesar, and it's a cool piece of art too. It's all sort of red. He looks very pissed off, and he's in the snow riding his horse. On the back we have this symbol, which is, I'm guessing it's like Alpha and Omega. And one thing that does annoy me about movies and steelbooks is when they do this, when they don't have the title on the spine. So when it's in like a big collection, you don't know which one it is until you pull it out. Especially you have a lot of ones that do this. But anyway, yeah, great movie. The next three here are Star Wars movies. Now, there's only been the 3 so far, I believe, that have been released on 4K Steelbook. You still cannot get Force Awakens on 4K, which is a shame, because I think that's probably my favourite of the new trilogy. But first up here we have Solo, a Star Wars movie. Another movie I think actually is pretty good. This movie got slammed, mainly because it's just not their Han Solo, I think, and the movie was a bit mixed and mashed around in the development of it. But I think this is a really solid movie, and I think I definitely preferred it over The Last Jedi. But we have the Millennium Falcon on the front, Solo, a Star Wars story, and we have the cast there on the back. That's such a Star Wars like art picture that you can imagine that being on like a poster. So yeah, Solo. The Last Jedi, this one has Rey on the front and C-3PO and BB-8. It's a pretty cool sort of art style. It's definitely reminiscent of the red planet with the salt. Stylistically and visually, this movie is stunning. It's probably the most stunning any Star Wars movie has been. It just missed the mark for me on a few things, but yeah, it's still a cool steel. And on the back there, Kylo Ren is definitely the highlight of the series, and he's got his sort of 3-way lightsaber there. So that's a really cool back. Would have been cool if that was the front though. Like I said, we don't have Force Awakens yet, but what we do have is The Rise of Skywalker. I actually really like this movie. A lot of people seem to be back and forth whether if they don't like The Last Jedi, they probably like this one. If they like The Last Jedi, they probably don't like this one. So I guess it is a bit hit and miss, but everyone has their own opinions. And yeah, I really did like this movie. So on the front there, we have the sort of dark side and the light side. More like I'm guessing it's supposed to be the big water fight battle thing. And I love how Kylo Ren's helmet looks in this with the cracks down it where it's been welded back together. And on the back we have Rey on the other side with what looks like to be the back of the Death Star. So yeah. Okay, moving on to the last section of my 4K Steelbooks now. And if you know me, if you've known me for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you'll know I love my horror. So all of these now are my horror 4K Steelbooks. This is one of the most recent ones I picked up, and it is the Mando, I think. Mando version of A Quiet Place. I remember the original one I missed out on, but I'm so glad I did because I really love the art in this one. We have the red light bulbs and sort of like the cornfield. I think this is one of the best sort of horror movies we've had in a while. It's a shame that the second one has been delayed due to COVID, but I think I'm definitely gonna have a rewatch of this just before that one comes out, and then we get to watch them back to back. And on the back there's, the artwork's even better. We got the sort of crop field with the light bulbs, which is like such a cool piece of imagery in the movie, so I'm glad they adapted that into the steel. If you didn't know already, I love the Alien franchise, so it's only natural I have some Alien stuff. So we have the Alien, this is from Zavi, the 40th anniversary 4K steelbook. It has the egg there with the crack coming out of it. It's a very weird steelbook. I guess it doesn't really fit the original artwork or anything, but it has like a metallic sort of look to the egg, if you can see. I'm not sure if you can make that out, but it looks like, you know, like a rainbow or oil in water. It's got that kind of look about it. And on the back we have this weird sort of image of a sort of like the mural, is that the word? The mural in Prometheus of the Xenomorph. It kind of looks like that. So there he is, the big chap in his glory. So that's the 4K steelbook of Alien. We don't have a steelbook for Prometheus yet, unfortunately, in 4K, which I would pick up in a heartbeat because that needs to be in this set. But we have the steelbook for Alien Covenant now. I think this was from HMV. And what we have there on the front is the sort of the baby version of the Neomorph, and that is a very creepy little creature. The way it just rips out some dude's back. There's a lot of gore to do with this guy in the movie. And we have this kind of steel look again. It's a bit dirty, a bit rusty, a bit oily, and that's what we like to see on our Alien movies. And on the back, this is a really cool shot as well. This is the shot of the Xenomorph in the shadows. I think this is what they first showed off in the initial poster for it, to say that yes, the Xenomorph is back in this movie. We got Brightburn 4K. Now this is a really surprising movie. When I first saw the teaser trailer for it, I was hooked on it because it was basically looked like Man of Steel, but if Superman became just like a psychopathic killer. And they did a really good job with this movie, especially with the gore. I was not expecting it to be as violent as it was, and yeah, I thought this was a really cool movie. So that's Brightburn, and on the back, this could be such an iconic villain if they made like a sequel to this where he's an adult, because look at that is some creepy ass dude. He's wearing like some knitted sack over his head with those red eyes. So yeah, really cool steelbook. I want to see a sequel now with this guy's an adult. Might be one of my favourite 4K steels, if any of the steelbooks I've got actually, and this is for Evil Dead 2. Now look at that piece of art. It's kind of like one of the pages from the Necronomicon itself. I love the art style, and we have the Deadites in the corners if you can pick them out. So yeah, I absolutely love this steel. I love this movie. It's so fun. Especially I like to watch the behind the scenes of this movie just to see how it's made, all the blood and guts. So on the back there we have Evil Ash, and yeah, I just need to get Evil Dead 1 if they ever bring out a 4K steel over here just to complete this set. So yeah, what a fucking steelbook. I love this. The next two steelbooks are of the same movie. So this is Halloween 2018. I remember initially I was a bit lukewarm on it. I loved some of it. I loved the way Michael Myers looked, but some of it I felt they could have done a bit better. But upon rewatch, I really liked it, and I thought it was a pretty solid sequel to the original movie. And I can't wait to see Halloween Kills. But that's a really cool steel. Just look at Michael there. On the back we have this pumpkin as well, which is, yeah, that's badass too. The font is a bit weird in it, and I remember when seeing the first sort of concept art for this steelbook, it had the text all across it, and I'm glad it doesn't, because it kind of would have ruined this image. But look at that, Michael Myers looks badass. And a few months after that steelbook came out, I saw this one on Zavi, I think it was, and it was only like £15 for the 4K version, and I think this was done by Todd McFarlane. I'm sure this is a McFarlane steel, and this is one of the Myers face. This kind of looks a bit like the artwork from the Deadpool one. But we have this artwork of a close-up of the Myers face in black and white. You see all the little wrinkles, and just, he looks so creepy in the old worn-out mask. And I had to pick this up, especially for the price, because £15 for 4K steel at the time is a bargain. And on the back we have Michael's hand with a knife. So yeah, it's chapter 1 and 2. Now these are badass ones. I know this is really scratched up, this one, because I tried to bring it on the train and it was in my bag and it just got scuffed. But yeah, it's still a badass steelbook. Look at the colours of the ballooner on his face. It makes him just look that much more evil. I really love these movies, and yeah, I love the book. I love Stephen King. Obviously, if you've seen this channel, I do Stephen King reviews. So yeah, on the back we just have it in sort of black and white. Chapter 2 here. This is cool as well. We have Pennywise with it's all of the Losers Club in the corner as adults, and this one is more arty, more stylistic. And on the back we have the other half, so I'll show you that while over here, because this opens up into one sort of picture. I mean, it's got the spine down the middle of it, but it's pretty badass. So this is another one that surprised me. We have Overlord. This movie is basically like World War II Nazi zombies from Call of Duty. It's about a squad of military guys who get left behind the enemy lines and they have to sort of work their way out. They have to get to a radio tower. But what they find when they're trying to get out of this place is they find all these weird experiments on villagers and just people around wherever this place is set, and it's kind of like zombies and military, and it was just a really badass movie. And I think it stars Kurt Russell's son, so that always wins it some more points in just the way it looks like an 80s sort of horror movie. So, and it's also a really cool steal as well, because you see these blood drops, they're actually like paratroopers going down, because the cast are paratroopers. I really like that little small detail. On the back we have a injection, so I'm assuming it's one of the things they experiment with. Okay, this one isn't actually mine. This is a gift I got for my girlfriend for her birthday. I think it was her birthday, and it is I think this is a Mando one too. It's the Pet Sematary, the original Steelbook. Now this is such a badass piece of art. Just all the detail that's gone into it. There's so many little details you pick up on every time you look at it. Like we have the coffin here, which is the cat's tongue, and there's just so much to look into on it really. So every time you pick it up you find something new, but it's just a beautiful piece of art. I like the way the font looks on the spine as well. And then on the back there we have sort of like the forest going into the graveyard. So yeah, very cool piece of art. Shutter Island. Now this is a Scorsese movie, right? This came out like the same time or very close to Inception, and I think both of these movies were just great, and Leonardo DiCaprio definitely won some points that year with me. I wouldn't say there was too much to the Steelbook. We have Leo on the front there in this very red dark look with the lighthouse there in the bottom of it, and on the back we have, I'm assuming, Leo walking into some sort of location. I've not actually seen it in such a long time, but I do remember loving it, so I definitely think a rewatch is on the cards for that too. The Shining. This is a classic movie. Now, I said I love Stephen King, and even though I prefer the book, this is sort of like a visual masterpiece of psychological horror. There's so much cool direction and shots in this movie, and honestly, watching this in 4K was such a big revelation. The amount of detail that I'd never picked up on before, just in like the things in the background of the Overlook Hotel or the characters' clothes and little details, and there's so much in there to find out. And I definitely think this is one worth watching in 4K, because it just brings a whole new level to the movie. So yeah, The Shining. And on the back we have this: all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It's all kind of written around in spirals, which also depicts the maze from the movie. And then last year's sequel to The Shining, Doctor Sleep. Now I can't wait to rewatch this one again, especially with there being the director's cut, which is like 3 hours long. Unfortunately the 3-hour cut is not on the 4K disc though, which is definitely a bummer for me. But yeah, I love the style of it, and the red room here, it kind of looks like a spider web or cracked mirror, and it's written obviously murder backwards. It's the iconic thing. I still haven't taken these stickers off. I definitely need to get to that. And on the back there we have the same sort of thing again. So Doctor Sleep, I think this was one of my favourite horror movies of last year. Okay, the last Steelbook in this whole video, we're going to be going out with Jordan Peele's Us. Now I thought this was a really cool movie too. He made Get Out previous to this, and I liked that movie, so I actually watched this one in cinema, and I thought it was really good. It might even be better. I just love the visuals and sort of the themes, and the whole sort of Santa Barbara Pier Lost Boys thing. Yeah, I can't wait to see what he brings out next, and I'm sure this movie probably looks really good in 4K too. So we have the scissors here on the front, and on the back we have like two heads, which if you've seen the movie you kind of know there's some kind of duality situation going on. So this is going to be it for my 4K Steelbook video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know which ones you own, or which ones you think was the coolest design out of this pack. And yeah, if you do want to see me do a full Steelbook collection of the rest of my stuff, then yeah, let me know by putting those thumbs up, and let me know in the comment section and all that kind of stuff, and then I'll know if you guys want to see that stuff. This is going to be it for this video, so yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, it's probably going to be quite a long video, so I'll see you guys with whatever comes next on the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, so yeah, see you guys next time.